It's Wednesday, November 15th, 2023.
I'm David Ellis with the Ellis Report on Capital Media HD 99.3.
Authorities at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital are assessing the impact of a fire that started in the electrical room yesterday afternoon. The hospital says that electricity across the plant has not been affected, neither has patient care been compromised. Trinidad and Tobago's murder toll has crossed the 500 mark. It is now recorded at 502 compared to 534 for the same period last year. Jamaica is delaying the signing of a major funding agreement with the European Union amid concerns from a local Christian group that the proposed deal will bind Jamaica to undefined human rights obligations tied to trade sanctions. And Barbados-based consultant sociologist Dr. Veronica Eveling is urging CARICOM countries, individually or as a bloc, to adopt a similar stance and not sign the agreement at today's meeting in Samoa. She argues that what she describes as the gender ideology that underlies the human rights assumptions of the proposed agreement has implications for constitutional rights to freedom of conscience and freedom of expression. Guyana has submitted what it says is evidence to the International Court of Justice that Venezuela is planning to seize Essequibo County by force. A lawyer representing Guyana presented a number of social media texts and video posts by President Nicolas Maduro, Venezuela's defense minister, and military personnel that say they're preparing to ignore the ICJ, that they're building a landing strip to take action against Guyana, and would engage in combat. A new report says climate change and the continued reliance on fossil fuels is costing people their health and in some cases their lives.
This annual report is described as a stocktake of how our warming world is impacting our health. It found that heat-related deaths in people aged over 65 increased by 85% between 2013 and 2022 compared to the late 90s. The report calls for a significant acceleration in the world's transition away from what it calls health-harming fossil fuels.
Brazil is experiencing an unprecedented heat wave that has caused it to issue red alerts for almost 3,000 towns and cities. Rio de Janeiro recorded 42.5 degrees Celsius on Sunday, a record for November, and a high humidity on Tuesday meant that it felt like 58.5 degrees Celsius. More than 100 million people have been affected by the heat, which is expected to last until at least Friday. Israel says its troops have entered the largest hospital in Gaza to find members of the Hamas militant group.
Israel accuses Hamas of basing fighters in or under hospitals. The U.S. says its intelligence suggests the same. Meanwhile, after the United Nations said its fuel depot in Gaza is now empty and that many more people would die as a result, Israeli defense officials now say they will allow fuel into Gaza for the first time since October 7th.
The weather forecast says that we can expect a mix of sunshine and clouds with occasional brief scattered light showers.
I'm David Ellis with the Ellis Report on Capital Media HD 99.3.